Hello everyone, we are group B3 and today we're going to be giving you some information on mental health care supply chains. For a little introduction, my name is Jada Eskai and the rest of my group members will be introducing themselves at the beginning of their slides. Enjoy! So to start off, we're going to give you a background on what healthcare supply chains are. So we have the question, what is healthcare supply chain management? Healthcare supply chain management, which you will also see in the slides referred to as SCM, generally refers to the procurement and distribution of products and services as they move from the receiving dock to the patient. Next, what is the goal of healthcare supply chain management? The number one goal of any supply chain is efficiency. That means that we want everything to run perfect and smooth. When it comes to healthcare, efficiency could mean distribution of medication as well as the care of patients, and then everything that falls in between also goes with that. Another goal is to lower costs. When we lower costs, we save money, and both of these go hand in hand. Now, we can move on to the statistics of healthcare supply chains. One area in which hospitals have not fully committed to is managing inventory, also known as supply chain management. According to a recent survey of 100 hospital supply chain leaders, nearly half of respondents still use a somewhat manual process such as Excel spreadsheets and other less sophisticated and outdated tools to manage inventory, supply expenses, and other supply chain activities. Throughout the PowerPoint, you will see ways that we can improve these supply chains. When taking this into consideration, we look for the following things. These include communication, ease of use, scalability, open flexible design, reporting and analytics, supply chain methodologies, and superior service. Because of this, supply chain management costs rank highest for hospitals and the systems of healthcare. There are predictions that in 2020, these costs may exceed labor costs at the number one position. Analysis has shown that if healthcare systems increase their advancement with their supply chain management, they can efficiently save costs for hospitals. According to Navigant Consultants, hospitals could save an average of 17.7% or $11 million per hospital annually by streamlining and standardizing their supply chain processes. These cost savings can lead to a boost towards prestige care at a decreased cost.
Hi, my name is Christina, and today I'm going to talk about mental health. What is mental health, and how do illnesses based on it affect us? Mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. Mental health can affect the way we feel, behave, and think. It's important for every stage of life since it affects every part of our lives. It is important to have a healthy lifestyle and environment, otherwise mental health problems can arise. Different types of factors can lead to have these issues, such as biological factors, such as genes or brain chemistry, life experiences, such as trauma or abuse, and family history of mental health problems. Mental health problems can also be defined as mental illnesses. Mental illnesses are conditions that affect your thinking, feeling, mood, and behavior. There are different types of mental illnesses that affect people in different ways based on their genetics or lifestyle. The different types are anxiety disorders, including panic disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, and phobias. Depression, bipolar disorder, and other mood disorders. Eating disorders, personality disorders, post-traumatic stress disorder, psychotic disorders, including schizophrenia. Depression is the most common mental illness. More than 19 million teens and adults in the United States have depression. Depression is not just about feeling sad once in a while, but it's more like feeling constantly sad or empty and nothing you do makes you happy. Some symptoms might be feeling sad or empty, loss of interest in favorite activities, feeling hopeless, irritable, anxious, or guilty, thoughts of death or suicide. Anxiety is another common disorder. It is a feeling of fear, dread, and uneasiness. It does not go away easily and can get worse over time. It can cause disorders such as phobias, which are intense fears of something that poses little or no actual danger. Eating disorders involve severe problems with your thoughts about food and your eating behaviors. People may eat much less or much more than they need. This disorder is a medical condition and is not a lifestyle choice. People with this disorder can either be anorexic, eat excessively, or eat and then make themselves throw up. These kind of disorders can cause health and weight problems. Lastly, psychotic disorders are severe mental disorders that cause abnormal thinking and perceptions. People with psychosis lose touch with reality. Two of the main symptoms are delusions and hallucinations. Delusions are false beliefs, such as thinking that someone is plotting against them or that the TV is sending them secret messages. Hallucinations are false perceptions such as hearing, seeing, or feeling something that is not there. It is important to keep track of mental illness so we will know how to treat it better in the future. The Mental Health America organization is a nonprofit that is dedicated to addressing the needs of those living with mental illness and to promote the overall mental health of all. As part of the goal, they released an annual report on the state of mental health in America. The reasons why they do these reports are to track changes in prevalence of mental health issues and access to mental health care, to increase dialogue and improve outcomes for individuals and families with mental health needs. The report this year had several key findings that show that mental health is an increasing issue. The report shows a few things. First, youth mental health is worsening. 9.7% of youth in the US have severe major depression compared to 9.5% in last year's dataset. This rate was highest among youth who identify as more than one race at 12.4%. This shows an increase among youth, which is important to keep an eye on, especially because of the next finding, which is that there is still unmet need for mental health treatment among youth and adults. 60% of youth with major depression did not receive any mental health treatment in 2017 to 2018. Even in states with the greatest access, over 38% are not receiving the mental health services they need. Among youth with severe depression, only 27.3% receive consistent treatment. 23.6% of adults with a mental illness reported an unmet need for treatment in 2017 to 2018. This number has not declined since 2011. It is important that people suffering from these illnesses to get treatment for their own safety and well-being. If left untreated, depression can lead to suicidal thoughts. The report also shows that rates of suicidal thoughts are highest among youth, especially LGBTQ+ youth. In September of 2020, over half of 11 to 17-year-olds reported having thoughts of suicide or self-harm, more than half or nearly every day of the previous 2 weeks. From January to September of 2020, 77,470 youth reported experiencing frequent suicidal ideation, including 27,980 LGBTQ youth. It's important to take suicidal thoughts seriously, especially among young people. Another factor that can lead to the increase of mental illness is the fact that the world is suffering through this pandemic, especially since the report shows that even before COVID-19, the prevalence of mental illness among adults was increasing. In 2017 to 2018, 19% of adults experienced a mental illness, an increase of 1.5 million people over last year's dataset. However, COVID-19 has affected people's mental health greatly. Finally, the report shows that this is the case since the number of people looking for help with anxiety and depression has skyrocketed. From January to September of 2020, 315,220 people took the anxiety screen, a 93% increase over the 2019 total number of anxiety screens. 534,784 people took the depression screen, a 62% increase over the 2019 total numbers of depression screens. The findings of this report, backed up by data, are very important in helping us understand and deal with mental illness in this country. Now, more than ever, data is important in making sure that we make the right decisions.
Hi, my name is Patrick Kashchuk, and I'm here to talk to you today about importance of SC in mental healthcare. Second is ways that hospitals can advance SCM. Lastly, I'll be talking to you about why are mental health care supply chains so complex. First, we're going to start with importance of SC in mental health healthcare. Automation and data analysis play a vital role in managing an efficient healthcare supply chain. Because close attention to supply chain is one of the most effective cost-reducing strategies in a hospital. Investing in state-of-the-art technology can offer huge return on investment. Some key findings from my reading. SC can help mental health drastically. It can locate what cities and hospitals are hotbeds for these diseases and assign proper resources to these locations so there aren't places with a surplus of patients and medications. This will make sure all resources are used to the best of their ability. Ways that hospitals can advance SCM. Improve performance with value-based healthcare initiative. Business intelligence that creates the opportunity to adapt an evidence-based approach to standardize medicine. So this has to do with making sure that everything is going smooth and they have the data to look back to see if it's actually going smooth or they just think it's going smooth. This will make sure that there are numbers to show that they are doing what's right and moving in a upward trend direction. Enhanced capabilities to comply with regulatory standards relate to tracking implantable devices and expired products. So this has to do with making sure that everything is up to date so that when they have products or we come into a pandemic like we are now, everything they have is up to date. I know firsthand, I'm from Canada, and we had a problem with PPE, and we had a lot on hand, but all of it was about to expire, so it became useless by the time we actually needed it, and they couldn't give it out to patients and hospitals. Also, they want to focus on time spent with patients. This can work as like more of an open forum so that they can hear patients' point of view, so they can understand if they need more of something and less of another, so that resources aren't being wasted again. That's a very vital task in SCM. Why are mental health care supply chains so complex? This is the last thing I'll be talking to you about today. And there's not a lot of research on it. So what I have found is with millions of individuals suffering in silence, researchers have yet to predict the appropriate scale and distribution of mental health care resources required to treat this population. So they still have to do a lot of work in this industry to find out how they can make sure their resources are being used properly. And this will help extremely to treat more patients in different areas and make sure everything is being used properly and to its best of its ability. Thank you, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of our presentation.
Hello, my name is Thomas Drago, and on behalf of my group, I'm here to talk about the challenges of the mental health care supply chain. Supply chain costs rank at the top of expenses for hospitals and healthcare systems. These costs in 2020 are projected to surpass actual labor costs in the medical field. Some of the challenges in healthcare supply chains are the following. Number one, drug shortages. Unpredictability is frequent in nature in the healthcare system, particularly with mental health. Many of those with mental health disorders are not fully transparent with their therapists or doctors, which can make it challenging in prescribing and forecasting the right amount of medication to maintain an inventory. This challenge can often lead to drug shortages or may force the provider into purchasing more expensive alternatives. A way to remedy drug shortages is to invest in technology that assists with early notification and response. Providers can manage and monitor shortages of drugs, and this upgrade in technology will help better prepare them for unforeseen shortages with other drugs. Number two on the list, hidden costs. Providers oftentimes make the mistake of just looking at product cost and the cost to ship. Inventory holding is an added expense often overlooked. If inventory sits on the shelf and expires, it becomes nothing more than a wasted expense. The best way to combat hidden costs is by investing in up-to-date, quality healthcare software. Up-to-date software helps give providers broken down details of costs and helps them in arriving at a cost-effective decision. Number three on the list, data shortages. Decisions by executives at hospitals are only as good as the data that is provided to them. Many executives do not have access to advanced modeling systems or real-time reports that provide the most pertinent information to make the most cost-effective decisions. Lack of data is often the end result due to the siloed nature of the inherent vertical internal structure of providers. Data shortage is a problem that is extremely necessary to address, as over 2/3 of IT professionals believe that supply chain contains the most relevant data to make an effective decision for a plan of action. For this reason, it's very important to have an up-to-date budget software solution that will help practices streamline their equipment request process while also investing in software that will help with new construction projects. For example, cloud-based point of entry helps aid hospitals for renovation or construction projects by laying a blueprint out for all capital equipment needed for these renovations and projects. Number four on the list of challenges, healthcare professional preferences. So different healthcare professionals have different preferences for what products they use. A pitfall for the supply chain in many organizations is that mental health care professionals are unable to be the final say in purchases. Most healthcare professionals aren't keeping cost effectiveness at the top of mind. A healthcare professional is often unaware of the cost of some of their choices. Therefore, it is imperative to educate and bring awareness to healthcare professionals about products that lead to a comparable or better outcome while at a lower price. Fifth and final challenge we have on the list, lack of integration. Consolidation has become more and more prevalent within the healthcare practices, facilities, and hospitals. Health systems are growing, merging, and acquiring. The problem arises because the organizations merge, but the supply chains remain separate. If providers don't take action, their bottom line will be significantly impacted in a negative way. A resolution to this problem is for facilities to share contracts so they can gain access to higher tier pricing. If lack of integration is not addressed, the supply chain will not be cost effective and the processes that it will contain will continue to lack efficiency. We now have our multiple choice questions. So, question 1. According to Navigant Consultants, hospitals could save an average of 17.7% or blank per hospital annually by streamlining and standardizing their supply chain processes. A, 13.2 million, B, 12 million, C, 10.3 million, and D, 11 million. Number 2, which does not prevent a mental health care supply chain from being optimally effective? A, lack of integration, B, drug shortages, C, software upgrade investments, or D, healthcare professional preferences. Question number 3. Which is not one of the solutions to the numerous challenges that can hinder mental health care supply chain management? A, software investment, B, laying off staff, or C, educating employees. So that'll about wrap it up for myself and our group. I hope we were able to provide you with some good background information on our topic. And everybody be safe and stay well.